Do older game designs work in modern-day shooting games? Prey is a first-person sci-fi game that takes inspirations from a lot of older games, Deus Ex, BioShock, and even some games like Portal. Although at times it can be an incredibly atmospheric, free-roam game with an amazing setting, the actual game design of Prey can also be labeled as dated. The use of respawning enemies doesn't really work in a game like this. The gunplay can be viewed as passé, and backtracking is emphasized far too much. But others say that there's something really special to Prey, at least those that can overlook the fact that Prey is less of an actual Prey game and more of a tribute to the likes of System Shock. So let's dive into the data on Prey and answer the hard question: did it fail? Prey was developed by Arkane Studios and published by Bethesda. But stop and think about these two companies for a second and PC ports in general during this time. In November of 2016, they put out Dishonored 2, infamous for being one of the biggest PC launch disasters of all time. Dishonored 2 was not buggy on day one, it was straight broken. Many people were forced to refund the game in lieu of any communication or fixes from the developer or the publisher, and it went on like that for weeks. Other players simply didn't buy the game because Bethesda had refused to supply review codes to the press, so no reviews at launch, only the thrashings from many angry Steam users who were rightfully pissed. Players also hadn't forgot about Batman Arkham Knight either, or Rage, or Dark Souls, or any other busted half-baked PC version of a AAA game rushed to the Steam storefront. So how could people trust Prey? If not for the growing trend of shitty PC ports and releases, or the lack of any PC demo or pre-launch reviews, then surely its redesign must have had some players worried. What we now know as Prey wasn't the original concept. Initially, Prey 2 was built as this kind of dark, cyberpunky game in development by Human Head Studios with less of an open world vibe. Taking a look at this trailer, you can see an entirely different game. Many people were actually quite disappointed, including myself, that this concept was scrapped. Others didn't realize it, but everybody was confused and no one had reviews to go on. But all of that quickly gave way as Prey was released to the general public on May 4th of 2017.
Diagnosing. Looks like you've had a rough day. Try to relax.
The launch of Prey had its ups and downs. As for the good stuff, Prey had an average user score of 89% over 4,300 Steam reviews. Across all platforms on Metacritic, Prey has scores of 80 for critics and 78 for nearly 1,400 user reviews. So overall, people do like Prey. However, one person did something to Prey that no one seemed to care for. Dan Stapleton over at IGN reviewed Prey and gave it a 4 out of 10 due to a rare, game-breaking bug that ruined his experience. Although the bug was fixed shortly thereafter, his review of Prey still hangs silently on Metacritic, crucifying a game that no longer bears such an issue, never to be removed, and forever skewing the score of an otherwise highly rated game. But on the real, Prey was praised for its intriguing premise, its exploratory design, and the fact that there was a lot of freedom, both in the story and the approach to combat and crafting. Being a single-player only game, Prey really had to nail its play-it-your-way design, and for a lot of people it really did. But others felt that Prey was fairly unremarkable and couldn't get past its sometimes repetitive and thin gameplay, its dependencies on backtracking, and the cookie-cutter, one-trick pony enemy design. And some didn't believe that the asking price of $60 justified a relatively short campaign with no multiplayer or cooperative play. Prey is an incredibly niche game, and one that doesn't exactly match up with modern-day wants and needs. In an age where most popular games have mountains of content, Prey is quite the opposite, but that's not a bad thing for a lot of people. Japanese gamers did feel this way though, as the PS4 version of Prey sold only 7,000 copies in the first 3 weeks. In the US, word on the street was also that Prey had flopped, and the sales figures actually do reflect that. Prey was outsold by many games during its launch, not the least of which Mario Kart 8 and Breath of the Wild, the latter having been out for several months leading up to the launch of Prey. Prey did eventually bounce back a week and a half later, at least in the UK, where it was the highest selling game for a single week. On the global PC front, Prey made out fairly well, pulling in over 250,000 Steam sales after 2 months. It's not a huge amount, but it's nothing to sniff at either. However, many people did purchase Prey and return it, displayed by the downward trends on this graph here. You may also note the lackluster sales growth in the last 3 weeks, only 6.3%. Being a AAA game with fairly lackluster competition, that percentage is really quite low. Now, how many of those players have actually stuck around with Prey? Currently, there's only a few thousand active players, and the trends look nearly identical to Bethesda's other single-player AAA game, Dishonored 2. Honestly, for a full-priced game, I expected to see more people, especially when considering how many copies were shipped on the Steam platform. Only 6.8% of all registered Prey owners were playing 1 week after its launch, and only 0.7% of owners are playing today. Prey was a good, very niche game. It had its flaws, it definitely felt very 10 years ago, but that was the charm of it, to bring back that system shockiness that has all been wiped out from modern day first-person games these days. Prey really didn't fail, but it really didn't succeed either. It really didn't do too much of anything, nor do I feel it will be remembered for very long. It's a shame, because I do feel like Prey was ultimately a pretty good game. There's also no way to tell how Prey affected its creators. Bethesda is owned by ZeniMax Online, which is a private company, so no stock analysis today. But either way, Bethesda needs to get with a fucking program and offer review codes to the press, so that we can all be more informed to the quality of their games at release. It's a policy that, to the core, is inherently anti-consumer. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know how you feel about Prey down below, and if you enjoyed the video, thumbs it up for me and subscribe here for more of our future content. You guys have a kick-ass day, and we'll see you in our next video.